Welcome to the Locksmith Show. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Andrew as well.
So I guess we'll call it the Andrew and Andrew Show since Mr. Charlie's not here today.
Since Locksmith Charlie is in Texas.
He is in Texas.
Well, he's soon boarding an airplane, right?
He's in the air.
He's in the air.
He might be in New Mexico now.
Okay.
Or whichever way the flight plan goes.
Gotcha.
He will be landing at 1:30 our time.
All right.
So we have some call-in numbers here today. 602-277-KFNX. 602-277-5369. You can always call us toll-free at 1-866-536-1100. So we all have had some fun times this week. Back to our lovely issue we talk about here all the time, the scammer issue. You do a research or search out locksmith in Tempe, let's say. You're going to get 3 ads that probably are not legitimate locksmiths.
Right.
Then you're going to get a list of 3 businesses in the local section. And depending on the day or where you are at, you could get a legitimate locksmith or you could get a not so legitimate locksmith. We had a gentleman give us a call this week, ask me how much I would charge to unlock a car. I told him $65. Actually, the call started because I was actually running over to one of my friend's shops,
right.
Jim at Copper State, and he asked me when I walked in the door if I had got the guy to call about a car opening that was down the street from his shop because his tech couldn't get to it at that moment. And I said, no, he never called me. Well, he gave me the number right away, so I called the guy back. He said that, he had another guy coming after I told him it'd be $65. The other guy was going to charge him $43. So we decided to wait around for a little while and talk to Jim. And about 10, 20, 30 minutes later, I'm not exactly sure when, the guy called back and asked me if my $65 was a flat rate. I said, yeah, that's all we would charge you, man. We'll be over there in 10 minutes, like I said. He said some guy was trying to charge him upwards of $300.
Yeah, just about $280 for it all at the end of the day. The $43 was there. It was on the invoice, $29.99 for labor fee and $14.99 service call.
Yeah.
But that high security door latch, cost an extra $244.99 because of that.
I thought the car was running and the power windows, power locks.
Airbags.
Yeah. Had nothing to do with any of it.
Well, you have to use a special tool. That's what an airbag tool he had to use. So,
these guys
definitely almost got took. Yeah, I mean, it was a good thing. It was maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles down the street from where we were at.
From where we were.
So,
and we went over there and decided to film the gentleman.
We did,
and ask him why he thought it was okay to charge customers upwards of $300 for a job that, should cost anywhere from $50 to $125, depending on the time of the day and the lock company that you call here locally. So,
well, not even locally. We're starting to find out that even in Indiana, it's the same price over there.
Yeah, it's pretty much across the board. We charge the same thing. Most places. You get into a major city, you might spend a little bit more.
Sure, bigger cities, right? Travel times, things like that.
Travel times and just the cost of living in a bigger city is a lot less than a smaller town in some places. I know locksmiths that still charge $35, but they have a town of 10,000 people or less.
Right.
So the cost of living there is not nearly as much. But we did catch this gentleman trying to charge this guy a lot of money. You can go check out the video yourself. I can't really play it on the air because we use some choice words that KFNS would not like us to say on the radio. And so we're not going to play any part of the video, but you can definitely see the video. You can go to AmdrewsLockandKey.com and go click the About Us and look at our blog. Or you can find us on Facebook at Amdrews Lock and Key. Find us on Facebook, and it's all over that right now, as well as the Locksmith Show, too, I think.
It will be.
Yeah. So we'll have it on to the locksmithshow.com probably shortly after the show today.
Exactly. Yeah, we were finally able to catch one of these guys in action. It's something that we've been trying to do for a couple months now.
Yeah.
We brought in the Arizona Professional Locksmith Association in order to try to bring the legitimate locksmiths together to help out the consumers to be able to go to a specific place and find a locksmith, because I mean, almost every news agency across the country has done the story on it that basically says, go down, find your locksmith that's in your neighborhood, shake hands with him, get his business card. But we all know that doesn't really happen.
Well, sometimes it does, but maybe you should even do the old "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire" and phone a friend.
Right.
There's a lot of guys who've been scammed, and maybe they've heard about it, and they can direct you to somebody to call.
Right.
Or just start asking questions like, "Do you have a shop location?" And if they're a legitimate locksmith, they probably do. And then there's a lot of guys who are like me, who run mainly a mobile service, who are more than willing to meet you anywhere, hand you their business card, and not charge you a dime to shake your hand.
Right.
So just to say, hey, if you do ever need us, call me, and we'll be there. So also you can get on the Legitimate Locks website, and more than likely you'll be able to find pictures of them, and pictures of their vans, pictures of what they're going to be showing up in. And, if you feel like you aren't right, or you get an invoice like the gentleman does in the video, don't pay it. Tell them to leave. If they've already unlocked your car, tell them to throw the keys back in it and lock it back up. You're not paying that kind of money.
Right.
You were quoted the $43. I'm going to pay the $43. You're going to give me my keys.
Yeah, classic bait and switch scheme there. I mean, when you get told one thing on the phone and it's a total opposite thing when, the job's completed, you have all of the power in the world to know that you're in the right to either tell him to go away or call the cops or anything like that. The worst thing that will happen is it'll go to a civil claims court. So, but definitely a huge problem that's still going on. We've been flagging countless accounts on Google. We've been emailing Google hundreds of times, trying to put up, additional shop locations and getting immediately denied. Yet these guys will go and take a coffee shop and turn it into a locksmith within a week and have it ranking in that top 3-pack and taking another, $220 over the standard price that guy was getting charged.
Yeah. Just
absolutely ridiculous for reasonings that aren't even valid either. It's the liability to do this and, things like that. How are the professional locksmiths then surviving off of the $65? You know what I mean?
Well, that and if it's such a liability, then for them, if they're so worried about the liability, why is the invoice written on the special invoice that you can go buy down at Office Max or even Walmart? I think they sell those right now.
Yeah.
So the little invoice book you can get for $20, and there's no legal form on there at all.
No.
That didn't say you have to sign here. You owe me a service call. You owe me this. You owe me that. And there was none of that on any of that. So,
right.
That's just like signing a piece of paper that says invoice.
Fill in the blanks type thing.
Fill in the blank and put whatever you want in there and say that that's a legal binding contract when there's nothing on there stating that it is a legal binding contract. So I don't know. In my opinion, that's always up to a judge, though.
Right. Yeah. None of us are lawyers over here, but
no.
There's I definitely think that there's large room. Again, like we were saying, if these guys are really going to try to take up suits, awesome, because it's going to further expose who they are, and maybe we can get a full audit going on and see how many credit cards we can get reversed because they scammed people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But a lot of the time, the way that they look at it is if they paid it, they paid it.
Sure.
There's a few people like the girl on the 3 on your side, the thing where the bank gave her money back.
Right.
That wasn't because of fraud. They just gave her money back, I think, to get the good graces of the TV. So
most likely.
But I bank at Chase, so thank you, Chase, for doing that.
Yeah. No, Chase is one of the best one out there, definitely. But, it shouldn't be something that we have to look to the financial institutions to be able to fix this problem. It's a problem that shouldn't exist in the first place.
No.
They're taking a honorable, great service, a talent that most people won't ever have the ability to do, and they're running it through the gutter with drill bits, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it doesn't. That shirt that we saw on Facebook this morning was not that far off, really.
Yeah, what was that?
It said locksmith.
Because a miracle worker.
Because being a freaking miracle worker
doesn't
make
make sense. So it was something like that. It was a great shirt, though. Yeah,
it was a great shirt. So back to the scammers. I think I don't know how to fix the problem. I really don't. It's something that I don't sleep about sometimes even. And I really wish that Google would listen to us, listen to the association locally, and see if there's some things that we can do to help combat against them. We did school the gentleman on business practices that we thought were not right. He claimed that he had no idea. I don't believe that, but
Yeah,
me
definitely
personally.
not.
So, I'm sure if he locked himself out of his car and got a $300 bill, he wouldn't be too happy about that.
Right.
I know I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, 4 minutes for $300. Again,
I don't even charge that to make a key for some cars.
right.
You know?
Top of the line key.
Yeah. You get up into the Beamer and Mercedes and some of those other stuff, you're spending over $300.
Sure.
But not any American car, most foreign.
Ford Fusion.
Ford Fusion. That key, to make the key with a remote-headed key even, you're probably at $225 if you're recreating it from the bottom up on
From
the
the
high
bottom
end.
up.
And if you don't want the remote-headed key, you're probably about $165, $185.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. $300 to unlock a car that
With a long reach tool.
which you didn't need to use a long-range tool to unlock that car. That's when you get out your Slim Jim. But again, if you're not a legitimate locksmith, you don't know that.
That's what I was about to say.
And that's why you charge $300. So
and make up as much as you can to hope that the customer will pay.
exactly. We will be back after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Locksmith Show. I'm Andrew McColley. I'm the owner of Amdrews Lock and Key. You can reach us at 480-437-4022. And you can call us anytime, day or night. We do anything that has any servicing of a lock, automotive, safes, residential, commercial, access control, cameras. We do it all.
All your lock and key needs.
All your lock and key needs. We're live here today inside the KFNX studios. Why don't you go ahead and give us a call at 602-277-5369 with any of your lock problems, issues. You have any questions about security, anything, we will chat about it. Or if you have any questions, any comments about life in general, give us a call.
There you go. So here's a question for you, Andrew. Do you have the ability to unlock a car that is completely engulfed in flames and burning a tree?
I saw that on Facebook yesterday.
Amazing, right?
That was at your house.
That was at my house.
Was it the keys locked in it too?
No, actually,
that would be funny.
That was kind of just a joke on it. But I guess the guy, to what I heard, was traveling up the 101 freeway, and he was in a natural gas car. So it had the tank in the back of it and everything like that. He started noticing that it was overheating, so he pulled off at Raintree and turned right, which is a horrible way to go. There's service areas on the left-hand side of Raintree, but not on the right, and found himself in my little neighborhood and decided to pull into the apartment complex. And almost immediately upon parking his car, it started smoking. And quickly after that, it lit on fire. And my dad was inside and kind of heard some commotion going on and everything like that. So he walked out, and next thing he knows, there's a Taurus that had about a good 8.5-foot flame coming out of it, and was actually lighting the tree on fire that the guy parked underneath for some reason. He knew that his car was overheating, but just decided to park it in the worst place possible.
Yeah, I saw the tree started on fire too.
Yeah. And then it blew up. Actually, it popped twice. It blew out the windows, and it had to be a leak in the line or something like that. So,
that is overheating too. So
right.
Be careful when you drive propane cars, guys.
Very careful.
Natural gas cars. So we have a caller.
Caller?
Yes. It's our good friend, the mystery locksmith.
All right.
I just want to ask one question. Why do you figure that you hear about the scammers on automotive mostly, but rarely on a commercial lock job?
I don't know that question. I know that they do get scammed in commercials because I have some of these scammers try to call me to at least some of the subcontractors that work for them that have tried to call me to come buy mortise locks from me because they've drilled them out or they've done something to them, and they have a hard time finding them because they can't just walk into Home Depot or another hardware store and buy a mortise lock or a rim cylinder. So those are generally what you find on commercial buildings. I do know that they go out there and do it. So, but you don't hear it nearly as much because you're inside a business and you don't really want to deal with a business and a bunch of other people. I think you just want the ones that are the one-overs at a gas station, like the gentleman was in the video, or, you're at their house and not having an invoice. And most businesses, I think, want you to bill them.
Right. Most businesses are going to want you to build them. Again, a lot of the mixers, they end up, meeting a locksmith.
Mm-hmm.
City of Commerce has, list of, valid businesses to work with, things like that. Most realtors or property management companies are going to have a locksmith company that they work with directly.
That they've checked their insurance and made sure
Exactly.
that they have it because their company wants to make sure
Right.
that they can't get sued if something happens.
But on the commercial part, just like Andrew said, mainly it comes out to the guys wanting to do net 30s, net 60s. Sometimes we've even seen net 90s, meaning that they don't pay for the service for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We have a couple clients that we deal with that way.
And I never understood the 90-day thing.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 months later, guys, come on.
It was a program that existed prior to credit cards because, there was a lot of things that had to happen. But with the access to funds that we have now, it's I definitely don't understand why net anything exists anymore.
I'll give you net 7.
If they do their taxes quarterly, that may be a reason also.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true, too. But, when it has to come out of my pocket to buy those parts, when you're going to pay me 3 months later, that's I don't get net 90 when I have to pay for those parts. So, but I think that was a great question. I don't know why it's not as much other than that's what I think. I would think that they don't want to mess with the businesses as much as, and this guy here was from out of town that was there.
Right.
So, that was definitely a one over. He could have just pulled off the freeway because it was close to a freeway, got some gas, hopped back in his car on the way to the next stop that he's going.
Right.
Didn't ask him where he was going or anything. He was just happy that the guy wasn't going to charge him almost $300. So
Until after he opened the car.
yeah, exactly.
No, and again, I think it also has to do with, most companies have some form of legal department at their ready disposal. So, something like that happening, they will have more opportunity to, try to charge the company or things like that, as opposed to your normal consumer who, is just in that panic situation like this guy. He went to the store to pick up some items, and the next thing you know, his keys are locked in the car, and now he just wants to go home. And it's the quick in and out rather than, actually, I don't think they actually want to do the service. They just want to be able to come out, open the car, get that money, and leave, and they'll do it at whatever cost.
Yeah, it's a quick one. Most businesses, you're there for an hour or two.
Right.
So at least I am when I'm doing stuff, unless we're doing a quick one lock rekey.
Right.
But they have to replace those locks because those are high security locks. Remember that.
There's also the potential if you tell them you're not paying them and they can't remove the hardware after they put it in, etc. So.
Right. Yeah,
Or-
you'd have
or-
to place a lien on the building basically, but as a scamming company, you're not really going to do that again.
No, and that's the company here is the one that Channel 3's done a few specials over. Definitely the same logo, believe a different phone number, but it's a joke, and I really wish we could stop it. I really, really do. I'm very passionate about it. I want people to not get scammed out of hundreds of dollars in a matter of minutes. So
That's a life changer for some people.
oh yeah, and $300 to the average person is a lot of money.
Oh yeah, there's no way. I mean,
That could be somebody's half of their paycheck the entire week, and that's a lot of money to unlock a car.
exactly.
Or a single mom, that could be the entire money for her and her kids for that week to buy food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it boggles my mind and hurts my soul at the least, to say the least about it. So what's new on your front there, Mystery Locksmith?
Not much. I started working a commercial job recently. Not doing any automotive, so it's a change. So that's why I brought that question.
Well, you could definitely push for the commercial work. Go hand out your business cards at businesses, so get in front of the business owners and the people that make the decisions, because you don't want them to flip open phone book, flip open the Google, and flip through the pages and find a legitimate locksmith. But shows you how old I am. I'm not that old, but I was going for the phone book. But even then,
I haven't had great advertising in the phone book before the internet came along, and now where do you put your advertising dollar?
Yeah, they took over some of the big listings, but for a long time, when you paid your money to be in the phone book, if you had the third page ad, you had the third page ad. That's where you were. You had the first page ad, you had the first page ad. But then they came in and overdid the listings by a mazillion to one. I don't even know what number to even use, because the locksmiths had more people than people in the cities, I think.
Yeah.
In the Yellow Page book, they had a
Certain places.
1 inch area of locksmiths. That's just ridiculous. So most towns have enough to handle. I don't know. It's probably maybe 500 locksmiths in the state of Arizona, I would think. Statewide.
Yeah. I mean, depending, you got some of the bigger companies that have,
I'm saying mom and pop shop
mom
wise.
and pop. Yeah, okay, sure.
Or smaller companies, smaller corporations.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'd say probably around that. That's something we'll actually be finding out pretty soon here.
Yeah, we're going to be really hunting them all down one by one. We will definitely find you. But don't forget to give us a call, 602-277-5369. We will be back after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Locksmith Show, live here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Our call-in numbers again are 602-277-5369, or you can call us toll-free if you're listening online at 1-866-536-1100.
Beautiful weather here in downtown Phoenix that we're having today.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Been some interesting cloud coverage the last couple of days.
It says it's 73 in front of me right now.
73.
Can't argue about that.
It's going up to like 92 sometime this week. I heard.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
No.
It's we're already breaking records for the hottest year ever.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be in the desert this summer. That's for sure.
To Antarctica. I hate snow though.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the cold, but I'm not a fan of the extreme heat either.
Any of our locksmiths that lives in anywhere that it snows, bless you, because
yes.
I would not be in this profession if I didn't live in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You could say it's hot. You cook like a turkey inside the van, I say, but I don't have to shovel the snow out every day to get in there to drive somewhere.
Right. No scraping the windshield, standing on a stool or anything.
Or trying to stop that van.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to have that
on any type of ice. So. Bless you guys and keep doing your hard work.
So, have you ever had a client run off on you after you completed the service? Just take off on foot or anything like that?
Nobody ever take off on foot.
No?
I have opened a car before where it was not the owner of the car.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, similar thing happened to a locksmith out in Northern Virginia, it seems. Looks like last Friday he showed up to a house to unlock it, and after the guy allowed him to go into the home once he opened the door, the guy started rummaging through the doors or the drawers and looking for the working keys to the house or identification. And after a couple of minutes, the locksmith had an internal alarm going off saying, something's wrong here. So he gave a call to the local PD, and as he's on the phone with the local PD, just saying, I'd like you to come out here because the guy can't find his identification or any working keys. The guy took off. So it's again something where when you show up, if it doesn't feel, or even if it does feel right, make sure you get the identification. Make sure that verify it is the person's address, or the person's name is on the driver's license and the registration, or that they at least have a valid excuse of why it may not be. A young kid, they might not be on the regregistration of the car. It might be their parents' car, but
exactly. We're getting mom and dad on the phone.
Exactly.
And we're going to talk to mom and dad.
Right.
So, it that happened to me back when Kmart was still around.
Okay.
I had to go unlock a Ford Explorer or Ford Expedition, and the gentleman who had locked the keys in the car, quote unquote, I had asked him if it was his car. He said, yeah. I said, okay. Do you have your driver's license? He showed me his driver's license. And on the photo on the driver's license, I kind of questioned that.
Mhm.
But, I age difference, I'd say, okay, yeah, maybe there's a little bit. But then when we got the car open, I asked him to give me the registration or insurance, showing me his name on it.
Right.
And there was no registration and or insurance in the car anywhere. Not in the glove box. There wasn't anything. And so I just didn't, to me, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right. So I said, okay, what's in the box in the back? And he goes, books.
Books.
I opened it up. It was kitchen utensils and other things.
No books.
No books. And he goes, oh, yeah, my wife put that in there. I said, no, that's not what happened. And he tried to take off running,
Mhm.
but the lady who owned the vehicle had seen us working on it and already called the police.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the police had came pulling into the parking lot. He was running away. I was standing there. I just put my hands up. And they came out and said, what's going on? I said, that guy had called us out here to unlock this vehicle. The keys were sitting on the seat. And I asked him for identification. I don't remember what the name was on it, but
Right.
I said he showed me this identification. I asked him to show me the registration and or insurance, and he still couldn't do that. Well, then I looked at, I said there was a box in the back. I asked him what was in the box. He told me books, and it's kitchen utensils and pots and pans and other things. The lady came out and she felt sorry that she had called the police on me. I said, no, I'm glad you did, because, cops aren't going to do anything to me. I came out to do a job and I was doing my job, and he took off running. I
Right.
stood there with my hands up saying, I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, you
So-
unwittingly were a partner in crime when you didn't
Exactly.
even know it was happening.
So after the cops were not nice in the beginning, but
Of
after
course.
about a minute, they realized what was going on. They were like, okay, cool. So, yeah, the lady kind of felt violated a little bit. And I said, no, trust me, I don't do this and not check registrations or check anything. That's like the first rule that any of the old school locksmiths drilled into your head. I mean, that's the number one rule. Well, if you're opening something, you need to make sure that person has the rights to have that thing,
Exactly. Yeah. Especially when it comes to something like the person's house or, a vehicle where, there's a lot of stuff in, or I mean, a vehicle in general, because it can be taken in, chop shops or anything else, gone within days, minutes,
Yeah.
things of that matter. But yeah, it's definitely, always go with your gut instinct.
Yeah, well, go with your gut instinct and yeah.
Get that verification. Yeah.
But yeah, there was red flags going up in my head the whole time, and I was thinking about calling the police, but somebody had already done that, the lady who owned the vehicle. I did have something else happen one time too, where a gentleman tried to have his house rekeyed after his wife already had the house rekeyed. But he was the one that had the restraining order against him.
So he was trying to lock her out of the house now.
She had locked him out already
Right.
and got the court order done, but then he had called us back like 2 days later to unlock the house and rekey the house.
So what, like unaware it was the same company basically, or okay.
Yeah. So, but one thing that we tell everybody in a dispute between roommates, your spouses or whatever, if it gets bad and it gets down to a restraining order, if you do call a locksmith to lock that person out of the house or lock, a tenant out of the house or whatever, to post it in the window after that, stating that you're the only person allowed in the house. If a locksmith walks up to the door, they're not going to open the door unless you're that person standing there.
Right. Or they
So-
have a new police order or something. of that
Exactly.
matter. Right.
Exactly. Some kind of probably a police escort or a constable of some kind
Right.
before they even do that. So, yeah, we don't like getting in trouble or having our names dragged through any court battles.
Right. No. Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
God I have never had that happen yet. But I knew a couple guys that have. So, but they were
Definitely
just
unfortunate.
witnesses in the subpoenas.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some car keys here. We get a lot of calls about us programming keys that are bought online.
Right.
Um,
Amazon, eBay, somewhere else.
one of the other shops that sell keys,
Right.
a lot of those come from China and Taiwan and Japan, and most locksmiths will cut and program the keys, and they're going to charge you a programming fee, whether the key works or not most of the time,
Mhm.
because they're going to have to cut the key and plug in their programmer. But I always say buyer beware on those. I have a lot of my customers that order them. I had a lady last week or a gentleman that had 2 of them, and we can only get one of them to work for whatever reason. We could do nothing. It was on that Ford Expedition that we did.
Yes.
And then I had another guy who bought a Nissan key, and one of the push button starts. This is before you came on, and he's called me 4 times because it keeps deprogramming. It just stops working. The car doesn't recognize it.
So what? The theft just basically drops the key out of the program?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and then he decided to go down to the dealer and buy another one.
Right.
And just right before Ryan left, I programmed it one last time, and I haven't heard back. So it was like almost every week on the week I was getting a call about it. So
it sounds like hopefully it either worked or he just gave up on it.
yeah, either that or his car's having some trouble. But
Right.
I'm betting it's probably the key, just because it doesn't have a strong enough signal coming out of it, or the signal's changing, or the battery's eating it up. I don't know. Just buyer beware when you're buying key fobs online that are coming from companies. I've been trying to find a set of keys or a set of remotes for a 2001 Pontiac.
Right.
And I have had 6 of them, even the cheap ones to the expensive ones. And we still can't get them in there. Even what the VIN number says, it still doesn't work. So I'm thinking we're starting having a little bit of an issue with the rest of it working. So
the actual chip mechanisms.
I don't think it's the chip mechanism. I don't think there's a receiver.
Oh, okay.
I think we're tripping the computer to program it, but I just don't think there's a receiver in it at all.
Right.
So, yeah. But if you guys also if you have a car and you're down to 1 key, especially a chip key, I would suggest making sure you have a second one, because it gets very expensive when we have to regenerate the key from nothing, when you lose the key, versus getting a second key copied and having a spare key. And most cars can have up to 6 to 8 keys programmed, even more, to the vehicle. So you can guarantee you won't lose your keys if you have more than one.
Right. Have spares all over the place.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we tell people all the time. Again, with your Chrysler products too, one thing Charlie and I talk a lot about is getting your immobilizer code number from the dealer.
Right.
That's the only way you can make a key. They cost us quite a bit of money to get them sometimes, and sometimes they're not already available in the evening time. But if that's something you can have and keep in your phone or store somewhere in the vehicle that nobody can find, you can get a key made 24 hours a day for it.
Right. And it's a thing that most people think of, oh, it won't happen to me. I'm good at not losing my keys. But it happens to us all, and especially with these transponder keys, simple like the Mustang that we went out and did. They were having a nice day at the lake, and unfortunately the keys took a spill into the water.
Yep.
So if you have that, you can get it cut and made real quick, real easy. Any legitimate locksmith can get it done. And just make sure you have the proper one in your phone.
Exactly. Proper locksmith. And make sure you buy the right key if you're going to buy it online.
You pay for what you get.
Pay for what you get. And call the locksmith and make sure that he is going to be able to program that key. He'll tell you. Or she. So we will be right back, guys. Welcome back to the Locksmith Show. Again, I'm Andrew. Charlie is in the air.
In the air.
Literally.
Not on the air, but in the air.
He's floating in the air. And he did not take any drugs.
Wow.
He got on TWA.
There you go.
I don't know. Southwest, one of the two. So but he's on his way back from Dallas. Should be landing around 1:30. Called me and asked me if I was an Uber. I said, yeah, I could pick you up at the airport. But I live like 2 minutes from the airport. So call me when you get off the plane, because I'll be there.
It's Uber Black even, actually.
I could Uber Black him.
You could.
Could charge him more.
That's, what, $50 or something?
No, we'll go 500.
There you go.
Go scam more.
Right, yeah.
You know, we got to go all the way if we're going to go that way.
So,
that's what these guys do.
$5 per mile, and
now we're going $50 a mile.
He gets the trunk space, right? Luggage rides in the cabin, and Charlie rides in the trunk.
No, we can't do that to Charlie. No. But if you guys are looking for Charlie, I don't want to give out his cell phone number because that's not the right number to give out. So let's give Charlie's phone number out. I should have been a little bit more prepared. Oh.
So it's Locksmith Charlie. He services valleywide. It's going to be 602-717-5397 or 602-717-KEYS.
Yes. Charlie has a couple tools that I don't own yet that working on getting.
Right.
He can reflash your Toyota, which is a very expensive way to get a key. Again, let's talk about expensive keys that get over $300.
Reflash.
Yes. Well, that's when you have to go pull out the actual ECU of the car and pull it out and go into the chip itself and tell the chip that it's getting some new keys.
Oh, okay. So almost reformatting it, or
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. And that gets very expensive because it's rather time consuming to pull the ECU out, put the chip on it, program that one. Very similar to the BMW stuff that I do.
Okay.
I just don't do the Toyota one yet. So
yeah, I'd imagine you got to pull out like half the dash basically.
No, on the Toyota, it's not. You have to pull out the glove box, and there's another little plate behind it.
Okay.
So on BMWs, yeah, sometimes you have to dissect half the dash to get to it.
Right.
At least underneath the driver's side. But yeah. And again, you can get a hold of myself, Amdrews Lock and Key, and our phone number is 480-437-4022.
And we also have Old Town Scottsdale Locksmith at 602-503-1343.
That's a division of us. You'll see me or another technician show up out there for you.
Servicing anywhere in Scottsdale.
Yeah, we specialize in the Old Town area,
right,
along with North Scottsdale by our other service area. So back to some locksmith news a little bit. The Huffington Post had a little special that they were talking about the. I just lost that. I closed it. Oh my goodness.
Which one?
They had 12 ways to pick a locksmith.
Gotcha.
Do you have that one? Because I'll get it back.
12 ways to avoid a locksmith scam.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the one.
Yeah, so I mean, it goes down to the things that we discuss almost every week on here, but you definitely want to make sure that they have a physical address, that they have that they have a website, and that the images on the website display real people, not stock photos. It's sometimes can be difficult to determine between the two of them, but definitely the owner's face or a list of technicians with their name should be there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just as guilty as using some of those stock photos.
Sure,
So-
but no, as I was saying, a picture of you is
there's-
on the website.
There's a picture of me on the website.
Right, as opposed to just a picture of a, silhouette showing CEO or something of that matter,
Yeah. Or the silhouette of the house with the key next to it.
Right,
Or the girl with the headphones on. The caller chick.
right.
So-
Or the peering through the window with the keys sitting on the seat
I
seems
know.
to be.
Are there any actors out there or models out there that want to take that picture? Because I have that same one of mine.
Yeah,
So
we'd love to get an
We'd love
update
that.
of that.
that would be nice.
Definitely, it's something, the reasoning that we created the association is to try to help out the guys to get on the internet. There's a company out of Las Vegas that's trying to start working on their content marketing. I believe most locksmiths are aware that they need to get on the internet now, but you definitely need to make sure that as a locksmith, you're giving the consumer the right information to feel confident of calling you and knowing that they're reaching a legitimate locksmith, as well as to the consumer. Make sure that you know the locksmith before you need one. Get them in your phone. Go down and meet them. Shake their hand. Call them. Just talk. Just ask random questions.
Yeah.
You'll be able to tell the difference between a true locksmith and a scammer very quickly.
You'll get hung up on by a scammer if you ask them about their shop location too many times.
Too many times, exactly.
We don't have one. It's getting remodeled. Or the gentleman in the video, where's your van? It's in the shop.
It's in the shop.
It's always in the shop.
Or not knowing what van he's drove for the past 2 years, but being a locksmith.
Yeah. 1200, 2500, G, whatever.
He's got a G37, but doesn't know what kind of van he drives.
He's got a 1 ton, or no, he's got what? He's got an F-150 Chevy.
No, he's got a Chevy 150 2500, similar to one we were driving.
Yeah. Very similar.
Is how that one went down. Yeah, if they answer the phone, some locksmiths will answer the phone. Locksmith Services, they'll answer the phone. Locksmith. This could be for several different reasons. But if you ask the company, they should provide you. Again, if you go and watch the video either on the locksmithshow.com or andrewslockandkey.com, you'll see this guy. We ask him several times what the name of his company is, and he actually responds no. The shirt that he has on says specifically Locksmith Services. And again, if you ask them, well, what company is this? They'll just continue to say locksmith and what do you need?
Yeah.
And then they'll hang up on you. A true locksmith, of course, is not going to miss out on that money.
No,
But
most of them are going to call you back and find out what they can do to help you.
exactly.
Or,
Explain why
it may
why
cost
they answer it services or just hello or something of that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Again, yeah, that's actually a very important part there, is that any true locksmith will be able to give you a direct quote over the phone. It won't be a running price.
It won't be a running price. And honestly, if you ask to speak to the locksmith, you're going to get a locksmith on the phone.
Right.
Just like when you call and you're talking to an auto mechanic and you ask to talk to an auto mechanic, you're not going to just talk to the counter help. They'll pull one of the mechanics out that have a second to answer a question for you, just like a locksmith will.
Right.
And if it's just the office, they'll say, well, give me your phone number back. We'll have the locksmith call you. And you can start, just ask the locksmith some questions, ask him how he's going to get into the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And if it starts getting into using destructive ways, ask for a second opinion.
Right.
Because,
if they come out and the first tool that they try to access your home or your vehicle with is a drill, sound the alarm.
Yeah.
And to the locksmiths out there, if you guys are a part of a professional association, Aloha, Sopel, any of those, have your badge on you. Have it displayable. Make sure that it's there for them to see.
Yeah, most of them always will have it. Or if you ask for it, they will show it to you.
Right.
And not to say that all legitimate locksmiths are members of Aloha and or Sopel.
Right.
Or both. So, because there are plenty out there that do not belong to either of those two.
Sure. But if
So-
you are, have your badge out.
Yeah, exactly.
To the consumer, ask if there's mileage, what the service call minimum charge may be. If because it's after hours, there's emergency fees, anything like that. Make sure you try to get every question out before they get out to you.
And
It's
ask
the best
a
way.
flat rate. Is that the flat rate?
Flat rate.
You're going to change it when I get here.
The locksmith will tell you, hey, I'm not quite sure how I have to do that one, but when I get out there and I can see it, I'll let you know.
Exactly. That's going to wind up the show today. I'm going to pick up Charlie. We will be back here next week at 11 a.m. And again, go to thelocksmithshow.com. We will have the podcast up today of this show and lots of other previous shows.
Take 10 minutes, guys. You won't regret it.
No. Thank you very much, folks. And don't forget to subscribe to the Amdrews Lock and Key YouTube channel.